Okay, y'all asked for it on the Simps Pimps Instagram. Y'all wanted to hear our toxic relationships. Here we are.
So the thing is, I don't think I'm ready for this, man. The reason for it is I gotta relive these damn fucking toxic relationships.
Relationships, as in plural with an S at the end?
Yes, very much plural, because every single damn relationship I got into happened to be toxic. And
Are we in a toxic relationship? Am I counting on your roster?
I think this is the end of my roster, which is good.
Okay, woohoo!
Thank you. It took me a long time to get here.
I don't really want to relive mine either. But at the same time, I'm kind of excited to talk about it because I'm just like, a lot of people don't know what the fuck this motherfucker did. So I'm like, I'm going to explain what this motherfucker did without saying his damn name because then we're going to get in trouble for it. You know what I mean? You feel me?
So what happened was I didn't start dating until I was a lot older. Most people don't know that. My very first relationship when I was 18. And a lot of things like self-esteem, a lot of things like insecurities, right, that really fed into it. That had basically is the reason why I chose the person I did. Is because
What? What do you mean?
because they weren't the most attractive person.
Oof.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and it's not, obviously a lot of people are going to be like, oh, looks aren't everything kind of situation.
But was it one of those things where you're like, if I date an ugly person, they'll just never leave me?
No.
No?
It was more like, I just want to date someone because, or whatever person throws themselves at me, like, I will date you.
First come, first serve.
Yeah, pretty much. And so that's how it felt, because I was like, oh, man, like, since I was such a inexperienced, boy in a sense, I was like willing to give everything for a person, because I don't know, like obviously I feel like I just had to feed into them because of mom issues and things like that. But overall, we started this relationship. At first, she said that she didn't want to be with me.
Oh, is that what drew you in? You said, yup, she's the one.
So the thing is that she was actually Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So with a Jehovah's Witness, they're not really supposed to be like doing stuff like that, dating and shit like that, and
like dating, sex, that like
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's why she was like, "No, I can't. I'm Jehovah's Witness." Blah blah. And I was like, "No, you can." Like,
you said, "Oh, peer pressure." Hey.
I was like, "Please fall in love with me," kind of situation. And so
it's
like,
kind of sad.
it is very sad, because that's what I was saying. I was like, I had mommy issues, right? So
is this a depressive story or is this a toxic story?
It's obviously
wrong episode.
This is the very beginning, so of course it has to start somewhere, right?
All right,
and
all right. I'll shut up now. Go ahead.
Was that we started developing, blah blah, like we started hanging out more, and she really started growing these feelings for me, because obviously once you start seeing a person, just all of a sudden start feeling some kind of way. Then she finally accepted to be my boyfriend, or my girlfriend. Sorry, boyfriend. God damn.
Hold on. This is actually a coming out video for Brian?
Is it? It's hilarious, but no, it's not.
So are you breaking up with me because you're into dudes, or?
No. Okay. So when I say that she wasn't most attractive, I guess you could kind of say she looked more like I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
Right? Anyway, we started developing a relationship going forward about maybe 3 or 4 months into it. All of a sudden, I start getting this like feeling, right? Like it's like, something just doesn't seem right, And it turns out that she was actually texting one of her, not necessarily exes, but they had a thing.
Oof.
It was like a, hey, what you doing, what you wearing kind of situation. And it's like, hey, do you want to meet up and go to the mall, stuff like that. She came forward with it, and she told me, she saw, she let me look at the messages and stuff like that. And obviously you could tell she was like, I really thought it was just like a honest thing and blah, blah. But in my head, I'm just
bullshit.
Like, obviously, it is kind of bullshit.
Bullshit? You know that video? Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. No, facts. And I was like, man, like, that's where I feel I started developing these, like, trust issues right there. And then, I mean, obviously I've already had, like, these trust issues because mommy issues, whatever. But that's, I feel like, the very first part where I was like, damn, I don't know if I can really trust anyone, Because I never was focused on anybody else, never, I cut my hair for this person. I basically did a bunch of things for this person. Like, I would walk from my place all the way to Ron Russell, like, at, like, around 5 or 6 in the morning just to go hang out with her. Moving even more forward, and, because thinking I was like, okay, we could recover, we could do this.
We
I'm
could
just
work it out.
Yeah, like, she at least told me, it's all good, blah, 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 this and that.
Wait, she told you or you caught her and then she had to tell you?
She would be, like, on her phone a lot, and I'd be like, what's going on, like,
Oh.
the gut feeling definitely helps out in situations like that. And even if it is just a gut feeling, it doesn't turn out to be bad. It's like at least you had a reassurance that it wasn't anything. And so moving forward, like I said, I think it came almost to like maybe a year into almost a relationship or something like that. I can't remember, like it was a year. And then she started doing some more shady shit, which is getting very like somewhat physical with me, very verbally abusive, and
Physical with you? What do you mean?
just like punch me kind of situation, things like that.
Oh my god.
You know,
Like straight deck you in the face or what?
like just a lot of the chest, sometimes the side, back of the head, stuff like that.
The fuck?
And yeah, like, so this is from like the 4 or 5 months when we caught till like the 9 to a year. This is the transition. The whole period is where it started getting a little bit more like verbally, emotionally, like toxic.
Okay.
And she would just ridicule me a lot when it came to my dance. Actually.
Oh, and that's something that you love to do.
No, yeah, she told me that I keep doing the same thing. You're never gonna get any better. Everyone's gonna be better than you. So why do you keep doing something that's just a waste of your time?
You're like, oh yeah, thanks, babe.
I was like, yeah, I appreciate you. And then that's when I won the 7 to smoke.
Nice.
And then it was in her. So I was just like, bro, this is a big fuck you to your face.
Hell
And,
yeah. Was she there?
She was there.
Nice.
And every time that I like felt confident in doing my moves or was doing good, you could see it in the video, and she was just shaking her head.
Like she was just preying on your downfall.
Yeah, it's wild, right? And okay, so sorry, I got to get to the juicy part, which is, so within about that year, she ended up cheating on me with one of her friends that I thought was just a friend.
If Kaylee was here, she'd be like, it's always the friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I just couldn't understand that because, like, I've been hurt, and to go from like because she actually and started thinking like she actually became like gay, right? So she actually started liking girls.
So she cheated on you with a female?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I found out basically that she kissed one of her friends and like messaged her and things like that and all that, and it was just like this was like a party that she went to with her friends, like almost like a little like sleepover situation and stuff. And I'm like, bro, what the hell? And like, turns out, like I said, she became gay, so now she's straight, just into girls.
Yeah, and it's like obviously not to her defense or anything, but it's like she's probably so like miserable in like dating a male when she didn't like males, so she was just violent and all this stuff and taking it out on you, which is so fucked up,
Yeah, and I remember that when I heard that, I was just in this bus, just listening to fucking The Weeknd, listening to Rolling Stones as I was just crying, because I was like, bro, this is just ridiculous. Like, I could not believe, what happened, and it was just intense. So, I mean, that was the first relationship. It was, like I said, very verbally, emotionally, physically toxic, and she basically cheated on me twice,
Oh man.
So the second one, this was like me trying to bounce back situation, right? Me trying to just like get
Like
the
rebound?
Exactly. Just try to re-up real quick, right? And
Re-up real quick.
yeah, and that's not something that really you can't do that. Like, I really started understanding that you can't.
Everyone's had a rebound, okay? It's part of the fucking natural cycle. I don't know.
Yeah, the natural order of trying to get through this
Of
shit.
things, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Natural order of heartbreak, okay?
And so this person, I actually met her through like this, through one of my friends. I don't really connect as much anymore, but still see him every now and then. We were doing like this high school thing for a jam, and we were setting up. So I was helping him set up and this and that. And she was actually she was working with the program, and so I was like, oh, like, who are you? Like, blah blah. And then I got to know her, and the thing is, like, I was just so like, broken, this and that, and then finding comfort and finally like someone's like me finding out that she kind of found me like attractive, and I was like, oh shit, I got giddy. I was like, oh god, someone finds me
First come,
attractive.
first serve again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I was like, oh shit, someone actually likes me. Okay, all right. Well, what do I do? What do I say? It's like,
Yeah.
so I was like, all right, perfect. So basically went up to her like after getting to know her, like, hey, like we should hang out sometime kind of situation. Hung out, blah blah, like started developing a relationship, and that's when I really started seeing kind of like where her trauma lied.
Oh Lord.
Because she didn't have a dad. Her mom was really like rough on her, and the only person that was good in her life was her grandma. Like her grandma was really sweet.
Okay.
Like I always appreciated her grandma too. Like every time I got to know her and stuff and talk to her and but a lot of it, like I said, stemmed from just not having that male figure, I guess, in life. And I get it. Sometimes you obviously don't need a male figure, whatever. But it's just I didn't have a mom figure, so I was like missing something, and so she was missing a dad. So it's just like it was weird. Um, and so she became very, very like physically abusive.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Again.
Yeah,
Was this one worse than the first one?
Oh, for sure. For more physical, yeah. Like she would be almost like rough towards me, like like basically like the same punching, some slapping here and there, and pushing.
God.
Yeah, and it was like, it would be sometimes you can mistaken it from like playing around. You know?
Okay, like kind of like a
Yeah, right.
nudge.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So like,
oh,
like a
stop
nudge, like,
it.
but then it would happen like every time. And so that's when I started realizing. I was like, and I confronted it sometimes, and it'd be like, why are you doing that? Like, why do you just think that that's okay? And it's like, she would like shut me down, like, shut up, like, what are you talking about? Like, I do kind of what I want, situations, stuff like that. And it's like, I wasn't gonna like hit a girl, like in my head,
Of
like,
course not.
that's not something that I would have ever thought to do. And it just got so close to those points at times, because
Yeah.
it's almost like someone's just like driving you to the ends of like where you're just gonna fucking blow up.
Yeah.
And it's like it was just crazy. Luckily, I was able to find somebody else that I was like, fuck this, like this relationship, blah blah blah, and so I basically cheated on this person.
Whoa.
Yeah, because they were just so like abusive to me. And so I was just like, and then on top of it, the last relationship didn't help me because I was like, I can't trust no one, and on top of it, now I can't even trust myself, you know.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it was like, but I didn't.
That's trauma right there.
It is.
Get cheated on, starts cheating on.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, the cycle's real.
And then, for finally like the third relationship, like I said, I would counter.
Wait, so you
recent.
rebounded the rebound?
Yeah, I found another rebound.
Fuck.
Yeah, and so then finally came to my most recent, breakup here, and that one lasted like the longest. It was almost like 5 years.
Damn.
4 or 5 years, yeah, and it was a lot of like cycles of going back and forth of
Like just really on and off.
on and off, yeah. And that's the thing. Since I've been so like hurt, and then I've hurt people. It made me so desensitized to things. So when it came to like emotions, when it came to like sharing emotions, feeling them, and talking about them, and not just trying to like hide behind some kind of substance, because I actually never started drinking until I was 21.
And is that when you were in a relationship with this last one?
Yeah, that was it. And I feel like since I never talked through any of my emotions, I never talked through anything that potentially happened through my life, then that's what really like stemmed with such a hard like
Yeah.
outburst of fucking trauma when it came to just drinking. And so it was horrible. And yeah, so like I said, this one was on and off, jumping back and forth, and a lot of arguments. And it came to me personally, it was a lot of me too, you know, because you gotta understand that it's not just one person.
Yeah, see,
But I mean,
admitting your toxic traits in a relationship too is important, but
yeah,
we'll get to that. Explain
yeah,
the toxic relationship.
yeah. So a lot of like fighting, a lot of bickering. It was very small stuff. To what ended up happening was because I didn't like this person as much as I did, I ended up just like, choosing everything but her.
So she's a rebound to your rebound, but like, why did you stay with her so long then if you like genuinely just didn't really, care for her?
That's the thing. It's like because I was out there trying to look for something to latch onto, and to find comfort in whatever. Because I'd rather not be lonely. I'd rather not be hurt the way I did. I'd rather be the one that's doing the hurting in a sense sometimes. And so
Man,
it's
that's
like,
tough.
yeah. So that's why I mean, obviously, I'm a horrible person for doing so.
I was gonna say,
You
I
know,
hope you know, like that wasn't cool.
it's not.
Breaking someone's heart, especially if it's intentional. Like,
Hmm.
but it's also not like you did it out of fun. It's just because you were afraid to be alone.
Yeah.
Doesn't excuse it, but
No, it doesn't.
there's a
No.
less harsh reason.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, like, obviously it took a lot of time, and it's still taking time right now for me to like accept those things too, and to just be able to find ways, healthy ways to cope through them and to talk through them. But yeah, it was just very tough to love someone, to give everything when you didn't feel the same way. Um,
What do you mean feel the same way?
well, because I could already tell that that person who was with me kind of loved me more than I did to them, you know?
Yeah. Would you
And
say you love them at all?
I can't really say that the love was like the love for like a relationship that I want to see a future with you. It was more just like a camaraderie.
That's not love.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a almost like a friendship kind of love. You try to convince yourself that this person is and will be your future and your love, and you're trying to like confuse yourself and like make things like potentially realistic. But there was almost like nothing that I could find that I was like super relatable, except the only thing that ever comes to mind when it comes to like I can relate to this person is music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's music, you know?
Yeah. You do that with your homies too.
Yeah, exactly. That's about as far as the depthness of it that really came to it. And then when, like I said, I started becoming very intoxicated and doing drugs because I almost felt like I was just trying to avoid this like talk of like that I don't want to be with this person, realistically speaking.
That you were just avoiding the facts.
I was trying to I was trying to avoid him. I was trying to just suppress myself and just, attach myself to other things. And
Do you think the relationship is what like drew you to drinking and doing drugs?
yeah,
Oh wow.
a lot of it, yeah. I mean, I'm not putting it complete blame. Obviously, there's the curiosity side because I never started
Sure.
smoking,
Sure.
until, I was really curious. And then, yeah, that's when it was like crazy, crazy, like I started becoming very, very violent, and it was reciprocated too from both sides. Like we both started becoming like these people that was just so negative and so violent towards each other. It just became, well, quote unquote, like toxic, like
And you
completely.
became toxic as well.
Oh yeah, I mean this is both sides. Like I was toxic to her, she was toxic to me, and it started becoming even like to the point where it was both like physically, like toxic,
Man.
And like I said, I never did the first or the second, nothing like that. And then for some reason, as soon as I started inviting these drugs and these alcohol kind of like situations, it's almost like I couldn't control anything, that came to mind, and all of a sudden, boom, and I think all those frustrating things that I couldn't deal with and that I didn't deal with, everything was just poured out all at once,
Yeah.
you know, and it was just like horrible, like we would always end up in situations. It almost seemed like every single time that we went out and there was alcohol involved, we would be fighting.
See, and I can vouch for that too, because obviously we were really close friends at one point, and we were really close when you guys were together. Man, do you know how many times I was left stranded downtown because they would start fighting? Like, he would disappear, they're arguing in a corner, and that was it. That was the end of the night for me. All of our friends and stuff have seen the physical arguments too, and the abusiveness, and, like, you getting kicked when you were already down, passed out, drunk. Like, it was bad.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to it, and I can. It feels like I'm just reliving most of them, like in my head, and some of them I don't even have the courage to talk about, because it's like because it got so bad, to points like that, and it's like I'm not trying to put anything like I'm not trying to put anyone down or say that they're a bad person because of what they did because
You did it too.
yeah, yeah, we were both taking fault in it, and that's the end of it. When it finally came to us splitting for like the quote unquote like we thought was gonna be the last time. What's crazy is that I started trying to find someone else like rebound again, you know.
You just have this pattern.
I had that pattern, and it got so bad to drinking. I found this person that I could try potentially to lash onto, and they were the worst of persons as well.
I remember this person as well.
Yeah, and the only times that we would meet up would be at nighttime, or we would be drinking. It would never be like, like daytime stuff where we would hang out and really get to know each other,
You were her booty call.
pretty much.
Aw.
And I was taking, a lot of the times I felt like I was taking advantage of, like I would pay for drinks, I would be driving, I would be doing this and that,
Aw.
and it's like, it just seemed like I was really trying to, like, get to know this person, find someone that, I could really, like, have a relationship with. And, I would talk to her at times and I would tell her my feelings. I would be like, hey, like, this is how I feel about you. This is how, I want us to see in the future, potentially. And, and she at times would tell me, like, oh, okay, well, we can probably get to that. We can do this and that. Or,
Just straight leading him on. Like, I remember this person.
And it got so bad because when you're like seeing the person that you like want to have a relationship with or falling in love with the situation, whatever, right, whatever it is,
Did you feel like you were falling in love with this person?
I felt like I was like, quote unquote, having these feelings for this person and potentially could get there. But I think that being intoxicated kind of tricks your mind a lot,
Yeah.
and it makes it seem like as if you are falling in love with this person, But I probably truly wasn't. I was just trying to find that other comfort and reassurance that, someone else does like me. She basically would hit on other people and hit on if people would hit on her kind of situation. It would just be like me just seeing it in front of me
That's fucked.
all the time. Yeah. And, it got so bad to the point where I was like, I had enough, like this, I've told you that I have these feelings and that I'm loving you and that you could tell me that you could potentially ever get to that point and you said, you probably can be, and I've just been
But then you're
putting
doing
so
all
much
this
energy
shit in front of me.
towards, yeah, and all this stuff, and it's like we were walking the downtown pier, basically like I was over the railing, and I was like, fuck it, I'm done with this, like I'm gonna, like all I want to do is just get out of this world and
Just
jump,
Yeah.
right? And instead of just telling me to do it or not to do it, she took out her phone, recorded it,
It's so fucked
and said,
up.
"Do it, jump."
Like, she made a damn TikTok about it. Like, what kind of fucking person does that?
And the dude that she was trying to hit on and this and that, he was telling me not to do it. He was like, "Bro, don't do it. Like this person that's writing, like this person's
Ain't
not
worth
worth it."
it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There was moments that I feel I should have been a lot smarter with, but even so, it's like I still think that no matter like what kind of person that you are, no matter in any situation, if someone is planning to kill themselves or threatening to kill themselves or things like that,
You
it's not,
take that shit serious.
you don't just, yeah, exactly, you don't just throw it out the window. You don't just start recording. You don't just make
Duh.
fun of them and you know what I mean, like that's not the best way or any way that should be taken. So
Like, that's just straight up a shitty person. Like, that's
Yeah.
nothing on you at all.
yeah, but I mean that was kind of like the chain reaction of toxicity coming from me, and
Bro, you know
finally.
what scares me about that?
What's
You
that?
talking about your rebound to the rebound to the rebound. Is that what I am to you?
No, that's the thing. It's like with this person that I was with for 4 or 5 years, whatever. It was me not liking this person, me not putting effort to this person, me not moving, growing, or doing anything to better my life. I don't think I could ever do the things that I've done now if I was with anybody,
Oh.
you know. And you're the reason for it. You are, and that's why I feel very grateful for where I am, and I'm very happy where I stand with you, and where we are, and I'm excited to see where we're going. You know. So we got back together because of that situation, because the person that was available and there for me was her at that time. At the time, because of the person that she was for me at that time, where I felt like I could have probably just ended my life, it was like this complete trauma bond. And yeah, I just had to feel almost like this obligation to give that person, you know, myself or whatever it is that they wanted. And
Like you dated them because you felt like you owed it to them for
yeah, for
saving your
saving,
life.
quote unquote, yeah, you know.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that is not at all what should be happening with a relationship.
No, of course not.
You know, and that's why I feel like it was very fake love. You know,
Yeah.
it was a lie, not just to, you know, myself, but to her. And that sucks because that's not on her fault. All what she
And
was
the
doing
thing
was
is,
she
too,
being,
on her side, the love very much could have been real. We'll never know, but it could have been, you know, and that's
Yeah.
a really shitty thing to do to someone who loves you.
now it's something that I can really like look back and understand. And
As long as you learn from it, you know? Like, there's toxic relationships, but I feel like no one talks about you being the toxic person in a relationship as well.
yeah, that's pretty much most of the. I think most. I mean, I think that's all of it.
That's some deep ass shit. That's some toxic shit for real.
Well, I think the audience is kind of curious to know what is happening in your life. Who is this toxic person or persons that have, you know, enveloped your life?
I wonder who the fuck it was, as if I haven't talked about it so many times on all these different episodes. A lot of people already know what happened, but I don't think they actually know the details of like how it actually went down. I was actually married. I was with this person for 8 years, high school sweetheart. We like bought a house and all this stuff. And okay, going back, so when I was 14, turning 15, there was this person that I was really into. It actually was one of my brother's friends, and he actually ended up losing his virginity to me. And it was the first person I met after getting out of a mental institute after my suicide attempt. So, of course, I'm latching on to this person, and, you know, he's being so nice to me, and I think I'm in love. And he was my first love, actually, which is so weird to say, especially being, like, so young at the time and knowing that. But basically, broke my heart. He was 18, and I just said I was 14. So, obviously, that is not okay. But me being at that age, I didn't understand that, you know? And this person I'm talking about, Brian, actually knows. And, you know, he was in the circle for a very, very, very long
Yeah.
time.
Very good friend, actually, of ours, and it always sucks.
Yeah. So, you know, moving on, high school, I'm with my high school sweetheart, and we're together, and, you know, we graduate, and we get married in Vegas, and we bought a house, all this stuff. This person returns back into the circle after, you know, not being around for years. And I guess I never processed the feelings and the emotions that I had towards him until I saw him again. And I was still angry, and I was so in denial about it. So I'm like hating this person. And Brian can vouch for it too. Like, I hated this person.
Oh yeah, like it almost seemed like you were so like you wished the worst for this guy because it was just
Yeah, like I didn't know it at the time why I was like hating on him so much, but after a while I realized this guy broke my heart and I never worked through it. So, anyways, I bought this house with the husband, and you know, I sat there and I looked around and I realized that I wasn't it's not that I wasn't ready to settle down, it's that I wasn't ready to settle down with that person. he is an amazing person and never did anything wrong, but it just wasn't the person for me, you know? And this person that, I was in love with when I was younger is back in the circle. And, he's supportive and, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you're going through this divorce and I'm here if you need anything and blah, 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 whatever, right? Keep in mind, when I took his virginity when I was 14 and he was 18, he had a girlfriend of 2 years at the time.
Yeah, yeah. And then he also planned to marry, by the way.
Ended up being engaged, actually.
Yeah.
So I guess things never changed because during this time he also had a girlfriend. So I am feeling all these things, but I know I am not supposed to be. But he's telling me things like, I'm going to leave her for you and, I love you and all this stuff. And me being in such a vulnerable place at the time with the divorce and him being, my first love and being the only person that's kind of there and supporting me, I believed him. And then it turns out that this girlfriend of his was actually underage. Yeah, I believe she was like 16 or 17. And keep in mind, he was what, 25? 26?
Yeah.
So we all found out about it, and he was actually in the dance scene with my brother and Brian. And there was a meeting, and we confronted him about it. There was no, oh my God, I'm so sorry, or I had no idea how old she actually was. The only thing he said about it was, her mom said it was okay. And I immediately stood up because we were all sitting on the floor in a circle. I ran to the bathroom and I threw up. And the thing is, Brian being my best friend at the time, he was the only person that knew my involvement with this person. No one else in the crew knew. So he's staring at me the entire time like, holy shit, this is bad, but I can only imagine what the fuck you're going through,
Yeah. That circle itself was insane. The amount of, disappointment, pressure, uneasiness, and fucking, sadness, too, because we were, seeing one of your colleagues, some of them can even say, best friend, just finding out the stuff that he was doing, and, that's his response, not something that where it's like I had no idea, or no, don't get the wrong idea, I'm not talking, or not even being.
No apology.
No apology at all. It's just crazy to me. I could not understand his thought process to why he thought that was okay. You know what I mean?
None of us could wrap our head around it, and everybody was hoping that there was some kind of explanation, but there wasn't. And Henry was actually the person who ended up saying it first, you know what, you're out of the crew, you know what I mean? Henry just had a daughter, he, just had a baby, all this stuff, and all of us were just like, nah, bro, we can't be having you around.
Yeah, it's not something that we wanted any affiliation with, at all, with a person, dancing is one thing, but if you're going to be this kind of person that is just,
what a bad look on you guys if you knew that and kept him in the crew. You guys are associating yourself with that behavior and basically saying it's okay at that point, and you guys were definitely fuck no, it ain't okay.
It's not. It's never okay to. I just can't understand, what that process is, what they, this person is so young, very young, and you're taking advantage of it because no matter what you really think of it, you are taking advantage of this youth because you're being very manipulative to them. You have more years.
Yep.
You're older. You have
by
all
10 years.
Yeah, all you're gonna do is you're gonna feed into their their ego. Oh no way! I have someone who's just
I pulled an older guy.
Right. But not only that, it's you're also dude. She is still in a process of developing. Yeah.
I think what grosses me out the most about it is it wasn't his first time, and the fact that I was the first minor that we know of.
Yeah.
Right.
That we know of. Yeah. Who knows?
Brian actually had this theory about being groomed when I was younger because I was also underage and I was a minor, and I didn't believe it at first, and I was very in denial. But thinking about it now, leaving your husband of 8 years, and then what happened? I'm like, oh my God, he returned to me and blah, blah, blah. And like, I was like willing to drop everything for this person who broke my heart when I was in high school.
Yeah. It made it, hopefully it made it very apparent that there was at least something going on, some kind of form of manipulation that was happening.
Yeah, for sure. Here's where it gets worse, though. Again, this episode's about toxic ass relationships. So, I ended up dating this fool after knowing what he did. Because in my head, if you love a person, you follow your heart. And, people can change. And he convinced me that it was a mistake. And, like he grew from it. And he's, he learned. And at the time, there's so many things that happened in his childhood and his past that made him think that it was okay. And all this stuff, right? So, not only did we not end up in a relationship until like 2 years after that, but I ended up living with this person, and he kept telling me things like, I will make it official eventually, and then he never did. So, I am sleeping in the same bed with him every single night, and he is secretive with his phone. He is disappearing all the time. He's acting really weird, and he's just straight leading me on. I made this TikTok video, and it was like a collage of like pictures and videos of us, and like a little cute song in the background. I get a comment on it, and it was like, "Oh my God, you guys are so cute." And at first I was like, "Oh, cool, whatever. Don't know who this person is." They comment again, just like in high school, you'll always be his number two. And I was really confused, and I was like, "Who is this?" So they're like, "You should probably check your Instagram DMs." I look at Instagram and they were like, hey, this is a picture that I feel like you should add into your little TikTok. And it was literally a like dick pic that he sent her wearing the necklace that I bought him in the bathroom that's 2 feet away from our bed. He took it when I was home. Like he was using me basically like to move to Vegas to be with this person. And I was paying for food and all of the groceries and all this stuff because he was saying he had no money. The reality was he was saving up to leave me. It gets worse again because after that is when we actually made it official. Like, I forgave him again. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process there was. Oh man, he's totally cheating on me. Let me go ahead and make it official. Like,
That's what I mean by I was so blindly in love. Because I lost friends, I lost respect from family, I lost so much because I just followed my heart. And that is why I am so convinced about the grooming thing when I was really young.
yeah.
Because like looking back now, like I could never, but I did, Like laying it out on the line, it's like, left a husband basically for someone that you were in love with when you were 14, took their virginity when they had a girlfriend, fell in love with them again while they had a girlfriend, found out that their girlfriend was underage, started dating them anyways, moved in with them, got basically cheated on with someone from Vegas and was using your money to move out to Vegas with her and leave you behind, and then making it official and dating them after that just for them to dump you at Kaiser Permanente.
Mm-hmm.
Someone beat my toxic story. I bet you can't.
Why did he dump you?
So I was having like lady issues that I was really worried about, and I went to urgent care. And doctors kind of embedded this fear in me because of a sexual trauma I had when I was younger, like especially when it comes to examinations, like in the private areas. And I wanted him to be there with me, but he wanted to go dance at the gym and go to practice. And I told him, like, can you please just go after because it's something that's really important. And he was really mad about it the entire time. We got into a fight about it in the doctor's office. And, yeah, he broke up with me because I wanted him there with me at an urgent care.
Oh, it's fucking disgusting. I don't know. Like, obviously, like, for me, like, it's just that I would never do anything like that.
Well, I don't think most people would do anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because me and you were still this really close-knit friendship at the time, and you kind of just witnessed me go through all of that, and you were actually the only person in the dance scene that still spoke to me. And I appreciate that because I lost everybody, but you knew that I was just following my heart, because when I love hard.
That was one thing that I kind of had to think about as well and decide. I had to make a decision at one point between like our friendship and the relationship I was with, and I had to basically almost like cut it off. But I couldn't do that at times, because I was like, man, first off, you were there for me when it came to my own, trauma, my own misery. We both were very heartbroken, and we used each other to kind of uplift each other. And
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
live
Like,
through.
you were my rock when I found out about the involvement with this minor.
Hmm. And that was us both going through it as like really good friends. And obviously there's times like where I was being super shitty and just you know leaving you stranded, things like that.
See,
But
that's the thing. We were both so fucked in the head, but we were like almost going through it together. And it feels like you're going through a hard time, I'm going through a hard time. It's like two miserable people trying to hold each other up. And at the time, it kind of worked.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like it's both sinking. We don't have anything to keep us afloat except each other. So basically, I would push you upward so you get a breath, and then you would push me upward to get a breath. But then we'd be drowning at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, like,
you know.
I don't think people understand how close our friendship was before we were actually in a relationship. Like, I know people have thoughts about us moving in together next month, even though we've been dating for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we were already talking about moving in together when we were friends.
Yeah, that was like oh man,
So,
the kinds of talks we would have too, where it would be
yeah.
like, oh, we wanted to pick a bar that we
We're
wanted.
going to open a business together.
We wanted to open a bar, but we also wanted to pick a bar that we would be like, this is our bar. We know this bar because people know us because we come here all the time, And we were trying to look for a bar that we could actually go to, And it was like it was cool, We really had like
We
a lot of
literally
moments.
went so deep to where we had the uniforms picked out. We had the colorway. We knew who the bodyguard was. We knew
Yeah.
the special nights, the special drinks. Yeah, I don't
sure.
think people understand the kind of bond that we had, and that's why it's so cool, falling in love with your best friend.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've always just appreciated, and I'm like, for one, there, I don't know. I mean, people are gonna have their own opinions towards this, but that was one thing that I've always wanted. I wanted someone hot. I wanted someone that
Oh, whatever.
I wanted someone that I can look at and be like, I'm very attracted to you. And I don't know, like, obviously you could look at my track record and be like, okay, I can see what you're talking about, and sometimes having like physical attraction to them and just thinking of other people, or just like I had to do other stuff where it was like like you had to do a jerk off or something because it was like
Oof.
you just didn't really find the appeal and the hot, the sexiness. There was almost like the physical
It was
attraction.
that bad with your exes that you would rather do it yourself than just turn off the lights and don't look?
Sometimes
Wow.
there was times where it was like but there was times where you're just so frustrated and just like I would fuck anything because
Yeah, because you're a boy.
yeah, I mean, because we're dogs, so yeah. But
Yeah, see, that's another thing that kind of grosses me out about, that Vegas girl sending me that picture, like, hey, you should totally, add this to your TikTok video, and it was a nude of him that he sent her. What makes me upset about it is I remember the date of that, and it was actually a day that me and him, hooked up. So I just get so revolted picturing him in the bathroom, getting himself hard, taking a picture, sending it to this girl, and it's like, oh, it's already up, opening the bathroom door, coming in the room, and then finishing it off with me. Like, what an object I was to this person.
Jesus, that is
It was
insane.
very, very toxic. And the thing is, too, it's like, I could fully admit when I'm the toxic person in a relationship, because with my, very first relationship, the ex-husband, I was very toxic when he did no wrong. I was emotionally, physically, mentally abusive, very, very much to him for years, And with this one, I, quote, was crazy. But it wasn't out of nowhere. It was because of the things that he did, so that when it was finally official with him, I had these trust issues. I didn't believe anything he said. And
Yeah.
instead of him understanding that and explaining it to me and making the relationship work, he just got mad at me for it. You know, like, I thought you said you were past it. I thought you were
Yeah.
forgiving me. I thought you were this, this, and this. And it's like, how do you expect me to move past it when you have done so much shit to me?
Yeah.
So yeah, it made me fucking crazy. It drove me up the damn wall.
That for sure would kill me too. If I knew that this person was doing stuff like that and I had to continue to just be with that person. Like, it would. Like, I mean, it's something that's not easily, like, something you can just move past. You know, it's, yeah.
Yep. And like, what makes me so mad about it is after he, you know, broke up with me at this doctor's office, like, that's urgent care, we get home and he's blowing up my phone, like, pack up your shit right now, like, get out, all this stuff. I don't care where you go. And it's like, it's the middle of the fucking night. And he's like, I'm gonna call out of work tomorrow so I can pack your shit, and, like, you know, saying all this stuff. And I was like, you know, like, we fought before. So just come home, come lay down, like, we'll talk, we'll do this, like, we'll work on it, like, we're gonna be okay. And, you know, like, I blamed myself. So I was like, I'll be better, I won't be crazy anymore, like, I'll stop, like, you know, complaining and, like, having all these insecurities and trust issues, like, I'm sorry. Like, why am I apologizing? You know what I mean? And you used to tell me that all the time when we were friends, because you were just like, bruh, like, you know the amount of times that Brian has come over,
Yeah.
packed my shit,
Yep.
went to my mom's just for me to go back there a week later and then do it again.
Yeah, that shit was funny. I was like, okay. It's like, where are we moving to now?
Yeah, so I packed up all my stuff, and that's when I actually moved in with Kaylee. You know, I was staying there for a while, and I would go back once in a while because I'm just like, okay, like, are we done arguing? Are we still together? And he got so mad that he's, like, blowing up my phone, texting me. Like, he called me Catherine, like my birth name. He's like, Catherine, get the fuck out of my house. Like, get out of my room. Yeah, and he was like, I don't love you anymore. I never did. Like, saying all these harsh things. You know what I mean? Like, it was a really, really, really messed up situation.
Messed up for, even from the outside too, like, perspective, like, just hearing about it, seeing it firsthand. I was like, man, this is just insane, you know. And it was always tough for me to even get past with the minor. It was always hard for me to look past that when I
let
had to be
alone
around
everything else.
that. Yeah, let alone the way that he treated you and the way that made you feel. Like, I don't know. I've never wished anything bad on people, but for him, I definitely do wish something bad to happen, because he just, I don't know. I feel like karma needs to catch up to him.
And the shitty thing is, too, it's like, you know, he recently got a dog that resembles mine, which is very strange to me. But because of that, we've run into him a couple times at PetSmart, and I don't know if he's seen us or not, or we just saw him. But there was a time that he was actually with a female, and we're not accusing him of anything, but the fact that it looked like a younger girl just shows where his tastes in women lie.
Yeah, it's
It could have just been a person that looked young but is of age. But the fact that they look young, you know, like barely passing 18 if anything, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, again, he definitely has his favorites, and there is a certain criteria that you need to fit, which is underage. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I just like pushing that button.
Yeah, that button is for sure a fire ass button.
I mean, after we broke up and I was kicked out, you know, I'm living with Kaylee, and, you know, your car broke down, so you were kind of staying with us for a little bit, you know. And you guys saw how often I had meltdowns, and, you know, every time I saw him, I would cry, and all the little things that he would tell me of, like, we will be together again, and, like, he led me on yet again, you know. So I'm, like, thinking, I'm not going to get with anyone else. I'm waiting for him. I'm doing all this stuff, and that's actually when you came out with your feelings for me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, but he says he wants to get back together, so I need to wait for him, and all this delusion.
Yeah. In my head, I was like, why do you have to be Rapunzel?
Yeah.
You know? Why do you have to just wait, be all pretty up in a castle for him, only him, and then while he gets to just not only look for other people, be with other people, and think about moving with other people, think about futures with other people. You know, and just like, this person was not focused on you. This person only wanted you when it was convenient for him.
Exactly. And I was so blind at the time that I didn't see that either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard
And
to. Yeah.
it was actually you and one of my close friends, V, that, basically sat me down and had an intervention for me one day and just listed all the horrible things that he's done. And I'm so grateful for that, because even though I was so defensive in the moment, like, it hit me later and I was like, God, point blank, he did those things. End of the day. No matter the rhyme or reason, he did those things.
Exactly. That's not excusable. That's the thing. It's very hard for someone to move past something when they have no confidence, self-esteem. Like, it's all broken.
He completely took it all from me, yeah.
You were just torn up completely, and
Yep.
no one can think that they can move on or bounce back from anything when they feel that way.
Exactly. And the crazy part about it is like being in that situation, like once I moved back in with my mom, that is around the time where me and you got together,
Yeah.
And we were actually together and we were still sharing custody of, Ruff. And he came over one time to drop him off or pick him up, I don't remember, and you were on your way home. And he actually ended up like pulling me on top of him type of thing and hugging me. And I'm not trying to say he was trying to do anything physical or intimate, but it,
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Like someone who wants to pull you on top of them while they're on the bed is definitely not trying to do anything with you.
well, yeah. Anyways. Anyways.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, right? And I'm like, he knew my involvement with you and tried to do that anyways. And I don't know if it feels more disrespectful to the relationship, or he just genuinely views me as a cheater and that type of person that will just submit to him no matter what I'm in.
Yeah, he definitely felt like he needed to test to see how far it would go, of how much manipulation he still had over you.
Yeah. And can I just say how good it felt to text him and be like, I need to set boundaries out of respect for my relationship. I'm not going to make Brian feel the way that you made me feel. Like, you made me feel XYZ, and I'm not going to put him through that. Like, how good that felt? And then he was like, you know what, to respect those boundaries, like, I'm going to disconnect. And I was just like, I was thinking that exact same thing. Perfect. And, like, and then we said our take cares, and that was that. And I've never been happier.
You know, it's not something easy that you can just do, especially when someone has manipulated you for however many years and however long, and it's so I appreciate the courage and the fight also for me, because not only does that also reassure me that at the time I felt like you still had these feelings, but that's what really set me from like to help me understand that you have moved past it, that it's something that won't occur.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay, enough with the depressing shit. We've been talking about toxicity and all this depression and suicidal stuff from the both of us. Like, let's talk about something what good came out of this?
the good that came out, the diamond from all the pressure, right? I guess. I get the beautiful thing that really came out of all this toxicity, of all this like bullshit that happened in our lives. I feel like it has to do just with the creation, the make, the insane, thing that happened.
The manic.
The manic, yeah. And I guess it just has to do with us finding that that almost like true essence of what love should be with each other.
I agree.
And it's tough. I mean, at the very beginning, I mean, it's always gonna be rough because you always have like these, like, not necessarily ups and downs, but it was almost like it's when someone is still trying to get over a relationship in a sense, right? It's always going to be very tough, especially with your situation. But the thing is, like, because I knew your situation, it was much different for me.
Yeah, I
to engage
agree.
it.
I feel like
Yeah.
everyone looked at us as, they just got out of a relationship, they're moving too fast, like, they need to wait a little bit, why are they already together? But I don't think people understand that we were, like how we just described, like best friends,
Yeah, we knew each other like so well. Like
Yeah, we've seen each other heartbroken, we've seen each other suicidal, like we said, we're drowning and we're lifting each other up at the same time. And because he knew my situation and I knew his situation, the fact that we were so close and we knew that we were able to help each other through it while also making it work with each other at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't think I could ever describe it to anyone. You'd have to be in our shoes to understand what it was like. And for everyone who thought it wasn't going to work, like, look at where we're at now. We're past the relationships in the
Yeah.
past. We're past all the bullshit, and here we are. We're flourishing.
The more you started coming around and speaking your feelings and, you know, making those like tough decisions like you did with setting those boundaries, you know, and like the even more reassurance of things, like when you started telling me like truly like I am falling for you, and how you like tell me like now finally like I can actually start loving you the way that I love you because I'm past this person kind of situation.
Yes.
Those that stuff is what really just like made that doubt just disappear. You know, it wasn't something that I had to like look back and be like, oh fuck, you know, like what if she still has these feelings for this person situation. It made me feel finally comforting because I don't know, like that was the one thing that was really really hard for me to not trust people.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
because of the trauma and also me too. Like I did stuff like that for other people. You know, like
Yeah,
cheated
and so did
stuff,
I.
and
Like
so that's why.
I have out of heartbreak as well led people on and used them for all these things and just didn't want to be lonely or even using people to make him jealous. It always, comes back down to him. We all have our flaws. Like I said, I was mentally, verbally, physically abusive to the ex-husband at one point, and that's something that I will always regret and always feel bad about because he's such a good person and never did anything wrong.
Yeah.
He just wasn't the person for me. And as much as I want to blame, the most toxic ex ever for ending that relationship, if things didn't go the way they did, I wouldn't be here with you.
It's true. Like the same thing for me. If I didn't have you to work up the courage to even say anything about like ending it, because if I was being realistic, because I've always been, as much as I could with like being real with you, like seeing 100 and telling you like I don't know if I don't like this fucking person, and you saying like why are you with this person? It makes sense. I can't stay with this person. I think like having you help me realize that, and then finally seeing like wait, the person that I was really looking for this entire time, the person that I was happy with, the person that I was like so like giddy about to be with, like to just to hang out with you. Like I don't know if I ever told you that, whereas like I would be so excited to hang out with
Oh
you.
my God, no, you've never told me this. Please tell me this now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I've always been so excited to hang out with you whenever it came to us like just doing stuff, And it was like that excitement started becoming more and more after finally realizing that I had feelings for you,
Wow.
Because it was crazy because like let's say I would come hang out with you and we whatever it is that we were doing or just even just talking. It didn't matter what we were doing. The actual thing about me just being there with you excited me.
You've never told me this.
Yeah, and I don't know. That was something that to me that was like I've never felt that way towards people, right?
Yeah.
I never felt like I was so excited to just be like, yes, I need to be with this person, or I want to be with this person, or this and
And
that.
at the time, it was like just being excited to hang out with your best friend
Exactly.
that you're so comfortable
And
with.
so that's why I was like, why do I feel this even more? What is happening?
Yeah.
And so that's why
That's
feel
what I
the
mean.
growth.
The beauty of falling in love with your best friend, like that sentence itself, is the only way I can describe us.
Yeah, because it just from there on, really just spouting my feelings and all that, it just made everything flourish and grow, and now it's just this beautiful thing that you can look at and be like, I mean, obviously people are gonna look at us and be like, they're always next to each other, they're always by each other, but it's like we
I don't
choose
think,
to do that.
but the thing is, I don't think people again understand how our friendship used to be, because I think I saw you every single day for like 3 months at one point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understood, like, every time we went out, you were always the first person I called and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we
Yeah.
were always together when we were friends, too.
We were always pretty much just right there, just arm's reach, basically.
And it's so weird that we never realized what
Yeah.
this was until it was.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's crazy. It feels good.
It does feel really good to be in something healthy and not have worries and just, being very secure in something. It's just, it puts your mind at ease, especially going from something so miserable.
I went through all this shit, but at the end of it, like I have someone that I truly love and that I cherish and that I see so much great things, with you. There's just like this weight and this like breath of fresh air that you can finally like I can finally be like,
Yes,
this is
agreed.
good. This isn't something where I have to stress over or really think
Or
much.
even question if you
Question.
like me.
Yeah, I don't turn to substances to hide shit from.
To numb.
Yeah, it's where I want it to be. It's how I wanted it to be,
And
and I'm
here
happy.
we are.
I'm happy I'm here. You know.
Oh.
So thank you for everything you do, though. I appreciate you, and I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. No more of this sappy shit. I think that's it for today's episode.
That's all. That's a wrap.
That's
you
a
know?
wrap.
That's a
Bye,
wrap.
guys.
All right, bye, y'all.